So, just an absolutely wild day on the news front. First, we were going back to war with Iran. Then Donald Trump comes out and says there's an indefinite ceasefire. Then Donald Trump comes out and says, well, we're locked and loaded and reloaded and we're ready for war again. You have Israel breaking the ceasefire in Lebanon already. Like we thought anything would be different there. And you have a explosion happening at a Texas oil refinery. This makes six oil refinery or production facilities in petroleum around the world in just the past 5 days. Is this a coincidence? Is this sabotage? What is happening here? You have Donald Trump forcing the reopening of a decrepit oil pipeline off the coast of California, one that caused massive ecological damage in California, and he's just forcing it, ramming it through for one of his buddies that runs a Texas oil company so that he can make a bunch of money, but endanger the coastline of California. They're obviously suing to try and stop that. You have Kash Patel coming out and suing the Atlantic for calling him a drunk. And then he does a press conference today where one kind of seemed like he might be a little bit inebriated at the press conference, but then he calls all the reporters liars, and that's kind of like the same situation as to why he's suing the Atlantic. So if he can sue the Atlantic for false accusations, then couldn't all those reporters that he's calling liars, even though one of the reporters asked him straight up, according to your own lawsuit, you got locked out of your own computers and you were complaining about that and thought that you were fired. That's literally in your lawsuit. And he stood up there on the podium and said, you're a liar. That's not in there, but it's literally in there. So couldn't that reporter then sue him for $250 million? Just absolutely wild going on. And now you have Iran coming out and they are saying that they refuse to meet with JD Vance at all. Like they're just saying he can't be the negotiator if we're even going to have negotiations in the future. It can't be JD Vance because he didn't come in good faith. And then obviously the two little round hats that he sent, Jared Kushner and Witkoff, they're not trying to deal with them either. So right now, it looks like the United States is going into a full scale war, maybe a ground invasion with Iran, or maybe not, because Donald Trump said an indefinite peace, a ceasefire. So we don't really know what's happening, and this is kind of the thing that makes this the most scary. We're getting reports coming out that President Trump wants to drop a nuclear weapon on Tehran. Now, the White House is obviously denying this, and I'm not saying that he does want to do this or doesn't, but this is just what some reports have come out and said. Very erratic. We got reports coming out that during the downed fighter pilot rescue mission in southern Iran, that Trump was so erratic that his staffers did everything they could to keep him out of the situation room because they were afraid he would make erratic decisions during the mission, which would endanger our servicemen over there that were doing that rescue mission. And then there's a lot of questions coming out as to why in the world would there be a full ranked colonel, somebody that's probably late 40s, early 50s, in the back seat of an F-16 or an F-15, whichever one it was that got shut down. I think it was the F-15. Because that just doesn't happen in the military. Full ranked colonels are not flying combat missions. They're not. They're in command, and they are needed at base. And so there's young pilots that would be doing that. There's young weapon system specialists that would be doing that, who, even maybe a lieutenant colonel that would be flying a combat mission, but not a full ranked one. So there's questions about that. And we still don't know anything about this guy. This was a heroic rescue mission, and we still don't even have this guy's name. There's been no interview with him. We don't even know if he was ever really downed at all. For all we know, whoever the pilot and the weapons specialist were that were downed in southern Iran, maybe they were rescued day one and the whole thing was just made up as an attempt to try and get the uranium from Isfahan. So, it's one of those things where it's absolutely insane, where you have the S&P 500 is breaking records, while at the same time gas in oil is, higher than it's been in 4 years. Jet fuel jumped up 100%, and there are jet fuel shortages. And you compile that on with all the stuff that's happening with the Strait of Hormuz, with the shortages, with this Texas oil refinery blowing up out of thin air for no reason, apparently, along with others that are maybe being sabotaged. And it sure is looking like we are heading down some very tough economic times. And that's why I always say that you need to protect yourself. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I need to buy gold, I need to buy Bitcoin and all this. Yes, you might want to look into stuff like that, but you also need to protect your digital privacy, because right now there are corporations selling your information and there are bad actors on the dark web that are trading your information. And there's one easy way to find out all of this, and that's through today's sponsor, Aura.com. And if you comment on this video, Cash, I will send you a link with a 14-day free trial where you can find out if your information is on the dark web, and if it is, what you can do about it, and B, what data brokers have your information and are selling it. If you ever had like a conversation with your significant other, and then all of the sudden you're getting pop-up ads for that, kids swimming pool you two were talking about or something, yeah, that's exactly how that happens. Whoever, or maybe you did a search on the internet, or you were talking and you had your phone open and Siri was listening or something, that information goes to data brokers. Those data brokers start smashing you with ads. And if you want to get rid of those, you can actually legal do it. And Aura.com will help you do it. They'll even send the cease and desist letters to these data brokers. 14-day free trial. All you got to do is comment Cash. Now, to wrap this up, I just want to say this. The news every day can be extremely depressing. And if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, here on YouTube, wherever it may be, I just want you to know that we're always going to try and be the most straight up honest with you. No filler, no fluff. We tell you exactly how we feel about things, about our opinions on things, and we're going to present you with the facts. We might not always get it right, but we're certainly going to try every single day. So all you got to do to support us is hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also consider checking out our Substack. Link is in our bio. You can support us over there for free, or you can help us out with a $5 a month paid subscription, which goes a long way to help us keep making this kind of content for you 24/7. Till next time, stay safe, stay free.